In order to create a successful narrative for my short film, it was important to look at products from within the media. This enabled my group to draw ideas from different films to create our final idea. A short film is around 5 to 35 minutes long, therefore, when coming up with our idea, we had to bear this in mind. The final storyline that myself and my group created was not our initial idea for a plot, but instead it stemmed from the narrative of our first 3 ideas. As a group, we knew that we wanted our short film to have powerful themes and an overall message that would be relatable to many people. Once we decided that our first 2 ideas would not be achievable because of our limitations when creating our piece, we looked at inspiration from other media products, such as 13 Reasons Why. This revolves around the story of a young girl being bullied by people from her school. The narrative follows her journey to show what has led to her to take her own life. Another film that we took inspiration from was Cyberbully, a film based on a teenager who finds herself to be a victim of bullying by fellow students via social media networks. The group liked the narrative of both these films. Therefore, we took elements of each film and created a new narrative in which meant our final plot was that a girl is being bullied via social media from anonymous users. The film shows flashbacks of how the events have led for the main character to make the decision of taking her life. The use of mise-en-scene in a media product is a key element, as it further portrays the subgenres of the film as theorised by Barry Keith Grant. This is confirmed in the short film The Antisocial Network. Although the genre of my film is drama, I looked at films with plotlines that revolve around similar themes to mine in order to adapt my idea and to create the best short film possible. The Antisocial Network is a comedy, and its plot focuses on a man who is consumed by social media, that his real life and his virtual reality are obsolete. The main props featured in the film are phones and a laptop, and the locations used include places such as his workplace and his local town. Therefore, when it came to creating my own piece, I had to make sure that the mise-en-scene that would appear in the footage was specific and fit in with the stereotypes and conventions of the drama subgenre, and also the conventions of short films. It is clear that I have followed these conventions due to the use of minimal number of characters so that the audience does not become confused, and the use of less than 2 locations which are relatable to the audience as it is set in a house. This helps to create a sense of realism and normality in order to successfully portray the themes and messages of isolation and bullying. Sound in drama films is very important. The use of music, non-diegetic and diegetic sound effects are used in all genres. However, it's thoroughly important in drama films as sound is used to add emotion and or to increase the intensity of the atmosphere. An example of this is in 13 Reasons Why. Throughout each episode there is dialogue spoken by the main character. This is used to add more depth to the narrative, whereas in our short film Anything But Social, there is no dialogue throughout. This is because we wanted to create intensity of the atmosphere through the use of music such as diegetic and non-diegetic sounds, rather than a voiceover. In the first draft, there was a line of dialogue from Lucy's mum. However, when editing, we felt as if it did not fit the pace of the narrative that we were trying to create. Therefore, we decided to cut all dialogue and to focus on the rest of the sound.
Clay? Helmet? Your name does not belong on this list. But you need to be here if I'm going to tell my story. If I'm going to explain why I did what I did. Because you aren't every other guy. You're different. You're good and kind and decent. And I didn't deserve to be with someone like you. I never would. I would have ruined you. It wasn't you. It was me. And everything that's happened to me.
Empty uses a range of camera angles and movement in order to portray the audience to the Empty uses a range of camera angles and movement in order to portray to the audience the serious and delicate themes that the film plotline touches on. The short film focuses. Empty uses a range of camera angles and movement in order to portray to the audience the serious and delicate themes that the film plot touches on. The short film uses shots such as tracking shots, wide shots, high-angle shots in order to capture the powerlessness and weakness of the characteristics of the main character, Kira. This is similar to what we want to portray in our piece. This meant that when creating the storyboard of Anything But Social, we knew that in order to capture the emotion and characteristics of the actor who played Lucy, we would need to use a wide range of shots such as long shots, medium shots, high angles, and extreme close-ups, as these shots would allow the audience to be able to see the emotions on the character's face and to witness the intentions of the character from the use of their body language. Furthermore, camera angles and editing techniques, such as high angles and flashbacks, would allow us to portray the feelings of Lucy, being able to show her as becoming fragile over time due to the events driven by the narrative. Anything But Social uses a wide range of editing techniques in order to create an intriguing and enlightening narrative that captures the audience. The use of continuity editing allows for the piece to appear more realistic and allows the audience to feel as if they were there within the storyline. Furthermore, due to the themes and messages portrayed throughout our plot, it allows the audience to relate, as some may have experienced bullying of their own via social media. Therefore, it's important that the editing was smooth and clear in order to create the sense of continuity. A similar short film that I took inspiration from when editing was A Social Life, as it uses techniques such as match on action and laying images on top of the clips in order to create the effect of showing the audience what the character was looking at and doing when on the different social media platforms. After watching this short film, I liked the idea of showing the audience what was on the phone. However, because of the message that we wanted to portray, we felt that by layering clips of the phone onto the clips, it meant that it would become too distracting for the audience, which overall meant that the narrative would lose its meaning and message. In my short film, we used flashbacks to show the audience what has led the main character to decide that she wants to take her own life. Furthermore, it adds more depth and helps to drive the narrative. When designing a poster for my short film, I had to look into other posters from both feature-length films and short films made by both Hollywood and independent companies. From my research, in order to create a successful film poster, it had to include the film title. From my research, in order to create a successful film poster, it had to include the film title, an image usually taken from the film, the names of the actors, film credits, and if the film has won any awards. The text, such as the film title and the lead actors' names, are usually in large bold letters in order to attract a large target audience. This is suggested by Richard Dyer and is known as star theory. However, most independent films have a lack of budget, so therefore are unlikely to be able to cast a well-known actor. When looking at both Hollywood and independent film posters, I compared the two. I found that independent films tend to be more unconventional and unusual than Hollywood film posters. An example of this is the poster for the short film The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. This poster is unusual as the film title is very small and is located in the middle of the poster. The poster does not give away too much about the narrative of the film. However, the use of props used, such as the mat with the words help on it, suggests that the film could possibly be a thriller or a drama. Furthermore, another unconventional element of this poster is that it also does not feature the names of the actors. The reason behind this is because most short films do not focus on making a profit from the media product, but to portray a message or meaning to the audience. When you compare the short film poster to the Hollywood film poster for The Age of Adeline, you can see that they are very different from each other, as this poster uses its star theory and features a photo of the famous actor Blake Lively, which takes up the whole poster in hopes to attract a large audience base of all demographic and psychographic ranges. After conducting my research, I knew how I wanted my poster to be set out. Instead of using a photo of the main character for the short film, I wanted to use a photo of one of the main props shown in the final moments in Anything But Social, which would also be intriguing and would capture the eye of those looking at it. Therefore, my final decision for the poster featured a photo of the pill bottle and the pills that the character Lucy takes at the end of the short film. I used Adobe Photoshop to edit the pill bottle and to add the film's title and add the film title in large bold writing, as I wanted this to stand out the most. I also added in the credits in the lower third, as this is the most conventional place that a lot of posters follow. I was pleased with the overall look of my poster as it follows the conventions of a film poster, yet does not give away too much of the narrative to the audience. For my film review, I looked at the inspiration from magazine companies such as Empire, Total Film, and Sight and Sound. In the end, I decided that I wanted to use the design and layout of my film review to follow the house style of Sight and Sound. After conducting further research into previous Sight and Sound reviews, I noticed that each review included the film's title, a release date, a photo of the film, a tagline for the image, and the main body of text and the credits and synopsis. Sight and Sound used a more formal style of writing, therefore does not include humorous language, but instead gives a critical analysis of the media product. The target audience for their magazine is students up to mature adults, in which the younger proportion of their audience is in the age range of the target audience for Anything But Social. Therefore, it seemed most appropriate that in order to distribute the film successfully, to have a review feature in a magazine of a likewise audience range. Similarly, to creating the poster to the film poster, I used Adobe Photoshop in order to create the design and structure of my review. In order to make it appear professional and realistic, I used margins to successfully create the layout shown in Sight and Sound magazine, which included having the film title at the top of the page followed by the details of its release, the reviewer's name, and then the main body of information. This text stated information such as the plotline, review of the actor's performance, a review on the director of photography, and criticisms of some of the elements on the overall film, and finally the credits and synopsis of the film.